MAJO, I'm Ned, and they call me Juanito in Mexico, and you'll hear more about why I still claim that name even though I've been back in the U.S. for about 4 months now. It's almost 5. I have a background as a PhD clinical psychologist and had a long and wonderful career there. And then a pretty illustrious career as a management consultant. And in all the work I've done in my life, I've always had a pastoral overlay to it, having been 5 years in the Catholic seminary. When I was at AT&T, they had 300,000 employees at that point. I called them my flock. But it's been a long search in my later years to find the medium for contributing. I spent 30 years misdiagnosed as bipolar, and it crippled me for 30 years, and I've been back among the living for 5 years now. I totally threw all that off back on June 26th of 2019. And then I traveled for 5 years, and all through those 5 years I was looking for, how do I give back now that I'm having just spiritual experiences, knew what I call initiations almost daily. For a while I just rode around in the camper van with my little dog and played the Lone Ranger, and would ride into town and people would stumble up to me who needed help, and I would try to help them, and some I could and some I couldn't. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, but I knew that there was something more powerful. I came on the idea of being with MAJO sessions because ever since I spiritually woke up, I'm pretty good at being. Better and better at doing also, but being in a way I never knew how to do before. So I've made a whole bunch of videos about offering being with MAJO sessions where I would not try to do anything, not try to play any kind of a role, just be me, and encourage you to more fully be you and then see what happens. And then as I got to the ocean and so focused on the healing power of being in the ocean water, I added being in the water with MAJO sessions as a product offering. Now here in Asheville, especially with winter coming on, being in the water is not really the deal. When I was in Acumal, Mexico for 10 months, they had a wonderful community center there that encouraged people to offer classes, and I was the first gringo ever to offer a class in a pueblo that was almost entirely Spanish speaking. And I was going to offer a class on stress management and trauma release, because that's been a specialty of mine ever since I did my dissertation on stress management. And through the co-counseling, reevaluation counseling I've done for so many years, trauma release, deep trauma release. And I was going to offer the being with MAJO sessions. They couldn't get their hands around having a gringo and an English speaker who would need a translator for some of the stuff. No, it just was too out of the box for them. But one of the great glories of Asheville, North Carolina is that there are many people who speak really good English here. My old poetry partner, we had done a big poetry concert together here at Asheville maybe 15 years ago. And when I contacted her, I said, Tracy, you're looking great. And really, she takes a lot of pride in her poetry, and she's very refined, much more in the Rumi mode than my, what I call guerrilla poetry. I said, you're looking cuter than ever, and really you speak very good English. I'm still, like every day, like, holy shit, everybody here speaks English. So Juanito's people has just been gaining strength for me for about a month now, mentoring, because I encounter so many stunning people in Asheville. It's very much like New Orleans, where amazing people from around the world come to live in New Orleans, Cozumel Island, where that's absolutely true, Playa del Carmen, where I was. And now, looping back after 5 years gone to Asheville, I go, yeah, Asheville. People come from around the world to live in Asheville. And although it's sure suffered its share of problems, from Hurricane Helene to gentrification to the lack of affordable housing because so many people have been moving here. A dear friend that I ran into Wednesday said, I'm so sick of Asheville. It's just, they've taken away our Asheville, and lots of people feel that way. And here I am rediscovering Asheville and going, wow, I'll spend time here. My doctoring is mostly over. I came here for a medical emergency. That's mostly past. I'm well again. But I'm choosing in a whole new way to be here. And what I want to commit to especially is this mentoring program, what I call mentoring for a brighter America, which needs it so bad, needs strong, courageous people who heal their past, enrich their present, really work on their relationship skills and making great contact, and their vision. It's the three phases. The vision, what is it you're going to contribute? And the only thing I really require is that you are someone who knows that it's your job in this world to make the world a better place, and you're going to find some way to do it, whether it's through your art or your gardening or your poetry or social work or whatever. And doesn't have to have a financial component. A lot of the people I'm stumbling on are baristas or restaurant servers or social workers. People don't have a lot of money. Doesn't have to have that. We'll do potlatch. I've always done that, even as a clinical psychologist when I offered psychotherapy back in Syracuse, New York. There were people who would make me casseroles instead of paying. So this morning, the first thing I focused on when I woke up this morning, and my sleep has been wonderful, and I wake up in really wonderful state every day and go really slow and don't rock the boat, keep listening to the inner sounds, don't put a lot of words in. But the thing I was obsessed with this morning was creating my list of prospects for Juanito's people, all the awesome people I've been encountering. An example is Emma, who's clerical support, admin support for the MAJO medical team that comes to AHOPE homeless services, where I'm getting help finding an apartment on Tuesday mornings. One morning when I said to her, yeah, I specialize in affirming people, and I always have, she got all kind of Google eyes and said, wow, I bet you do a great job. It must be amazing to have you as a support. I bet you're an amazing support. And I went, wow, she notices, she gets it. She gets it. Now, what does that mean? She's got a job and she's awful young, and what's supposed to happen here? And this morning I went, yes, we'll propose Juanito's people, because more and more my vision is that I would have in addition to one-to-one sessions, there would be a cadre of people who would support each other. And because I'm so good at such a history of reevaluation counseling, which always peer, I never really bought the therapy model because it's always been peer for me. Yeah, they can learn from each other, and she'd be stunning in that. So she may not opt for it, but definitely to offer it to her. So then it's cold this morning. I went over to the hotel. They have a really nice, pretty decent buffet breakfast in the morning, and got my coffee, and then went around to the outside of the building. I have a beautiful patio that faces inside, but it's all, the sun hasn't hit it yet today. But the other side, the front door of my apartment, is where the sun was hitting. And I was standing there with my coffee and had a cigarette and got really calm. And usually I'll have a song in my head first thing in the morning, but that had not happened this morning. And as I was standing out there, the song Let It Be from the Beatles bubbled up. And it means so much more for me now, having spent 2 years in Mexico, where people in Mexico are positive that when they say Mother Mary comes to me, they were referring to Maria Sabina from Guadalajara, Mexico, where they did mushrooms with her. And in Playa del Carmen, there's a spectacular mural of Maria Sabina with all the little mushroom people. And just before I went in the hospital in Playa del Carmen, there was an altar outside to Our Lady of Guadalupe. There's so much devotion, so much beautiful, sweet devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe. People who don't practice Catholicism anymore really revere Our Lady of Guadalupe and will go straight to her with their requests. And I learned to do it myself. I've got a video where she helped me one day. And then at the end of the day, that same day, in that video, I talk about Maria Sabina helped me when I was in trouble. So I can talk about that and teach people about, because it's all part of affirming the feminine, which is going on so widely. It's so ironic. In the U.S., it's war on men. Fuck you men, you can't say nice things to us. No, we don't need that shit, and we will beat you up. I mean, it's just a travesty what's happening between men and women in the U.S. And in Mexico, women are getting more and more empowered, but they love their men, who are wonderful men these days, no longer macho. It's a whole different thing. And the reverence for Our Lady of Guadalupe and Maria Sabina, yeah. So, Juanitos, people, I'm on fire. This is what I'm up to, baby. Oh, 11 minutes. Sorry, Tom Kilby. I couldn't get it in under 11 minutes. I'm sorry. Bye. Have a good day, folks.